Tiddalick the Greedy Frog. An abnormal Dreamtime story. Retold by Nicholas Wu and illustrated by Nina Rycroft. Chapter 1. Dreamtime. Once there were no mountains, no rivers, no animals, and no people. There was no sun, no rain, and no wind. There was only darkness. Then the dreamtime came to be, and wonderful things began to happen. The rainbow serpent came down from the sky and slithered across the earth. Mountains rose and valleys appeared. Rivers flowed, and earth was slowly covered with trees, plants, and flowers. Animals appeared as if they had been blown in by the wind. In those days, when the earth was green and beautiful, there lived a giant frog named Tiddalick. He was bigger than rocks. He was bigger than trees. He was even bigger than the mountains. When Tiddalick was happy, everything was calm and peaceful. When he was grumpy, the earth would tremble, rocks would fall, and winds would rage. Why do you think Tiddalick had so much power over the world? Chapter 2. The Greedy Frog. One morning, Tiddalick woke up in a very grumpy, greedy mood. He was so grumpy and greedy that when he walked down to the lake, he took a drink and drank and drank until he had drunk the whole water in the lake. Oh my. Then he went down to the river. He drank and drank, and he had drunk all of the water in the river. Tiddalick was so greedy, he kept drinking night and day. He drank all the water from the lakes and streams. The greedy frog drank so much that there wasn't a drop of water left in the whole world. Tiddalick was so full he could hardly move. All he could do was lie down, close his great yellow eyes, and go to sleep. The land dried and cracked. The rivers turned to dust. The trees lost their leaves. The flowers did not bloom. Animals began to die. Nothing moved, and there was no sound. There was no rain. The land suffered from a terrible drought. The animals cried, "We have nothing to drink. We have nothing to eat. There's no rain, no water. What can we do?" Did you hear one of our vocab words? If you did, say it out loud right now. Chapter 3. The Challenge. Wise old Wombat said, "We need to talk to Tiddalick. We can ask him to give us back the water." So one by one, the animals went to Tiddalick. The animals argued about who should approach him first. Kangaroo was the bravest. He said, "I will speak with him." "Tiddalick," he cried, "I am the jumping kangaroo. I cannot jump anymore because I'm so weak. All I can do is lie in the dust of the dry riverbed. Please give us back our water." The dingo said, "I'm the wild dog who barks and howls in the night. I cannot bark and howl anymore because I'm so weak. All I can do is lie in the dust of the dry riverbed. Please give us back our water." He doesn't look very happy. Kookaburra came next. He said, "I'm the bird who laughs in the trees. I cannot laugh anymore because I'm so weak. All I can do is perch on a branch of a dead tree. Please give us back our water." He hasn't moved at all. Then the cockatoo squawked loudly, "I'm the bird with the brilliant white feathers and the bright yellow crest. I'm very, very weak. My beautiful yellow crest is growing pale. Please give us back our water." Tiddalick did not stir, didn't even open his big yellow eyes. It seemed that the greedy, grumpy frog would be the only one to survive. Chapter 4. A Solution. The animals were about to give up. It seemed that they would die in the dust, but then they heard a small voice say, I have an idea. Who do you think it's going to be? Who do you think it's going to be? I won't show you. Say it out loud right now. The animals looked around. There was a little bandicoot, flapping his big rat ears. If we could make Tiddalick laugh, I'm sure that the water would flow from his mouth, Bandicoot squeaked. Maybe we can tickle him. Let's find a branch. So the animals struggled to their feet and gathered around the giant frog to see if they could make him laugh. First they tried to tickle him, but Tiddalick didn't even seem impressed. Kookaburra told some of his funny stories. Everyone laughed and laughed, but Tiddalick didn't. He didn't even blink. Next, Kangaroo and Emu jumped up and down and around and around. Everyone laughed and laughed, but Tiddalick didn't. He didn't even open one eye. Lizard came down from the tree. He opened his frills, shadowed the animals, his bright orange and red scales. Then he ran around and around on his hind legs. Everyone laughed and laughed, but Tiddalick didn't. He didn't even stir. Come on, Tiddalick. Laugh, you big squelchy frog. If you could see yourself, you would laugh until you cried, the animals said. But all seemed lost. The animals were sure they were doomed. Tiddalick would never laugh, and they would never have water again. Why do you think Tiddalick isn't laughing? What do you think made him so grumpy? Chapter 5. The world awakes. As the animals gathered from the last time, they heard the strange tiny voice calling, let me try, make him laugh. It was the eel, who had slithered up from the dry billabong. He began to dance. First he moved slowly, but soon he danced faster and faster. He wriggled, twisted, and turned himself into strange shapes. Then he jumped into Tiddalick's tummy, spinning around like a tornado. Tiddalick began to shiver. Tiddalick began to quiver. Tiddalick began to giggle. Tiddalick's giggle became a gurgle. Tiddalick's gurgle became louder and louder until the earth trembled. Then, all of a sudden, he began to laugh. The animals ran for shelter as water gushed out of his mouth like a huge waterfall. Tiddalick laughed until every drop of water was out of his stomach. Look how much water came out of his mouth. The water filled the lakes, the ponds, the billabongs, and the swamps. It filled water holes and the rivers. New life came to the earth. The whole world woke as if in a deep sleep. Trees grew and flowers bloomed. Animals wandered through the grass. Birds flitted from the tree and went to the next. Slowly, the earth became beautiful again, and Tiddalick became just a little frog. And to this day, the Aboriginal people of Australia know that when they see little frogs filling themselves up with water and burying themselves in the ground, there would soon be a drought. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story. Go on to the next slide of our presentation to see the craft.